Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to talk to you about another horrible case, one that's particularly heartbreaking and shocking: blind rage. This story is not just about a crime, it's about a community shaken to its core during what should have been a joyful time of the year. As we all know, the holiday season is a time for celebration, family gatherings, and joy. However, it's also a period marked by a significant rise in criminal activities. Statistics show a concerning increase in crimes, assaults, and robberies during the holidays. Law enforcement officers are often overwhelmed, registering hundreds of crimes during Christmas and New Year alone. The combination of festive activities, alcohol consumption, and the pressures of the season can unfortunately lead to tragic outcomes. One of the primary factors contributing to the spike in holiday crimes is the mass consumption of alcohol. During celebrations, people often drink more than usual, leading to loss of control and, in some cases, violent behavior. Alcohol can impair judgment and reduce inhibitions, making individuals more prone to committing acts they would otherwise never consider. Another critical aspect to consider is mental health. The holiday season, while joyous for many, can be a time of intense loneliness and despair for others, particularly those with pre-existing mental health issues. People struggling with these issues may feel isolated and overwhelmed, sometimes turning to criminal acts as a misguided way to resolve their internal and external conflicts. Let's dive into the tragic case of Elle Edwards, a young woman whose life was cut short in a senseless act of violence. Elle Edwards was a 26-year-old beautician and dental assistant, known for her beauty, kindness, and positive nature. On January 25, 2022, her funeral took place, marking a somber day for her family, friends, and the community. Ella's death was not only shocking, but also widely talked about, as it occurred during what should have been a time of peace and celebration. The incident began on Christmas Eve, December 24, 2022. A stranger was seen observing the pub Beacon, where many people had gathered to celebrate the holiday. At approximately 11:50 p.m., a horrifying event unfolded. Shots rang out, and Elle Edwards, along with 4 other individuals, was struck by the gunfire. Tragically, Elle did not survive her injuries. Elle Edwards was more than just a victim of a crime. She was a beloved member of her community. She worked as a beautician and dental assistant, roles that allowed her to touch many lives with her skills and warm personality. Ella was known for her beauty, kindness, and positive outlook on life. She had a close relationship with her sister Lucy, who, along with the rest of her family, has been deeply affected by this loss. In the aftermath of the shooting, the investigation began with no immediate leads. The attack seemed sudden and planned, leaving the police with the challenging task of piecing together what had happened. Investigators interviewed family members, examined CCTV footage, and appealed to the public for any information that could help solve the case. The authorities and media made urgent appeals to the public, seeking any information that could lead to the perpetrator. Volunteer activists organized local meetings to gather eyewitness accounts, hoping to shed light on the tragic event and bring justice to Elle Edwards. A breakthrough came when CCTV footage and witness accounts pointed to a dark Mercedes A-Class seen near the crime scene. This crucial piece of evidence led to the identification of Connor Chapman as the shooter. Chapman had a long criminal history and was known for his gang involvement, making him a prime suspect in this senseless act of violence. Following the identification, multiple suspects were arrested, including Connor Chapman. The evidence against him was substantial, including DNA found on shell casings and a pair of distinctive red gloves that linked him to the crime. The trial began on June 13, 2023. The courtroom was filled with tension as the prosecution presented a compelling case against Chapman. Ultimately, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 48 years. His co-conspirator, Thomas Waring, received a 9-year sentence for his involvement. The community's reaction to the verdict was one of outrage and sorrow. Many felt that the sentences were too lenient for such a heinous crime. This case has sparked a broader discussion about the need for legal reforms, particularly concerning firearm regulations and sentencing guidelines for violent crimes. In response to the public outcry, the government has allocated additional funds to combat gun crime and support affected communities. Ella's father, Tim Edwards, announced the establishment of a support fund for victims of gun violence, hoping to prevent other families from experiencing the same pain. Elle Edwards' death is a tragic reminder of the dark side of the holiday season. It's a call to address the underlying issues that contribute to such acts of violence, including alcohol abuse, mental health struggles, and gang activity. In understanding the tragic case of Elle Edwards, it's crucial to explore the underlying causes that often contribute to such senseless acts of violence. Two significant factors that frequently play a role in holiday-related crimes are alcohol consumption and mental health issues. The holiday season, known for its festive spirit and celebrations, also brings with it a darker side, marked by increased alcohol consumption. During this time, social gatherings, parties, and family reunions are often accompanied by the mass consumption of alcoholic beverages. While for many, drinking is a way to enhance the joyous atmosphere, for others, it can lead to dire consequences. Alcohol is a common feature of holiday celebrations. From office parties to New Year's Eve gatherings, drinking is often seen as a way to relax and have fun. However, the sheer volume of alcohol consumed during these times can lead to a range of negative behaviors. People may drink excessively, often beyond their usual limits, due to the festive environment, peer pressure, or the desire to let loose. One of the most concerning aspects of excessive alcohol consumption is its impact on an individual's ability to maintain control over their actions. Alcohol impairs judgment, reduces inhibitions, and can lead to aggressive behavior. In many cases, individuals under the influence of alcohol may commit crimes they would never consider while sober. This loss of control can result in violent altercations, assaults, and even homicides, as individuals act on impulse without considering the consequences. The connection between alcohol and crime is well documented. Statistics show a significant correlation between alcohol consumption and the incidence of various crimes, including domestic violence, assaults, and robberies. During the holidays, the increased availability and consumption of alcohol amplify these risks. The festive atmosphere can quickly turn volatile when individuals, impaired by alcohol, lose their temper or make irrational decisions. The case of Elle Edwards is a stark reminder of how holiday cheer can be overshadowed by alcohol-fueled violence, leading to irreversible tragedy. The holiday season is not universally joyous. For many, it is a time of increased stress, loneliness, and emotional turmoil. Mental health issues, often exacerbated during this period, play a significant role in the escalation of criminal activities. For those with mental health deviations, the holidays can be especially challenging. While the media portrays this time as one of happiness and togetherness, those who struggle with mental health issues may feel even more isolated and disconnected. The pressure to be happy and the expectation of social interactions can deepen their sense of loneliness and despair. Individuals dealing with mental health issues often grapple with internal conflicts, such as anxiety, depression, and unresolved trauma. The holidays, with their heightened emotional stakes, can bring these issues to the forefront. For some, criminal acts become a misguided way to cope with or resolve these internal and external conflicts. They may lash out as a means of expressing their pain or seeking attention in a world that feels indifferent to their struggles. Criminal behavior can sometimes be an extreme manifestation of untreated or poorly managed mental health issues. The lack of adequate mental health support and the stigma associated with seeking help can push individuals to their breaking point. In their distress, they might engage in acts of violence, seeing no other way to address their suffering. The case of Elle Edwards is a tragic example of how untreated mental health issues can culminate in violent outcomes, affecting not only the individuals involved, but entire communities. The factors contributing to the tragic death of Elle Edwards are complex and multifaceted. Alcohol consumption and mental health issues are significant contributors to the spike in holiday-related crimes. Understanding these causes is crucial in preventing future tragedies and creating a safer, more compassionate society. As we remember Ella, let us also commit to addressing these underlying issues, promoting responsible behavior, and providing better support for those struggling with mental health challenges. The tragic case of Elle Edwards has left an indelible mark on her community and beyond. To fully understand the impact of this horrific event, it's important to delve into the incident itself and the sequence of events leading to her untimely death. The somber reality of Elle Edwards' death was starkly highlighted during her funeral on January 25, 2022. At just 26 years old, Elle's life was abruptly and violently ended, leaving her family, friends, and community in shock and mourning. The widespread attention her death received underscores not only the senseless nature of the crime, but also the profound loss felt by those who knew her. Elle Edwards was a beloved figure, known for her kind nature and vibrant personality. Her death resonated deeply, prompting discussions on violence and safety during what should have been a joyous holiday season. To piece together the tragic events of that fateful night, a closer look at the timeline reveals the unfolding of a senseless act of violence that claimed Elle's life. On Christmas Eve, December 24, 2022, the pub Beacon in the Wirral area was bustling with holiday revelers. Amidst the festive atmosphere, an unknown individual was seen observing the establishment. The pub, a popular local spot, was filled with patrons enjoying the holiday cheer, unaware of the impending danger. As the night progressed, the pub remained lively. At approximately 11:50 p.m., the tranquility of the evening was shattered by the sound of gunfire. Panic ensued as shots rang out, and patrons scrambled for safety. In the chaotic moments that followed, it became clear that several people had been struck by the bullets. Among the victims was Elle Edwards, who was gravely injured in the attack. Despite the efforts of first responders and medical personnel, Elle succumbed to her injuries, marking a devastating end to what should have been a night of celebration. In addition to Elle, 4 other individuals were also shot and sustained various degrees of injuries, further amplifying the horror of the incident. The senseless nature of the attack left the community reeling. Elle Edwards, a young woman with a promising future, was brutally taken from her loved ones. The other victims, too, faced the physical and emotional aftermath of the shooting, highlighting the far-reaching impact of such violent acts. The overview of Elle Edwards' case underscores the profound tragedy of her death and the violence that marred what should have been a joyous holiday season. The series of events leading up to the shooting at the pub Beacon paints a chilling picture of how quickly and unexpectedly life can be torn apart by senseless violence. As we reflect on Elle's life and the circumstances of her death, it is crucial to remember the importance of community support and the ongoing need to address the root causes of such crimes to prevent future tragedies. Elle Edwards was a remarkable young woman whose life was tragically cut short. Born and raised in the Wirral area, Elle was well loved by all who knew her. She had a dual career, working as both a beautician and a dental assistant. Her dedication to her work in both fields showcased her commitment to helping others look and feel their best. Elle was known not only for her external beauty, but also for her inner kindness and positivity. Friends and family frequently described her as a radiant person who brought joy and warmth wherever she went. Her infectious smile and compassionate nature made her a beloved figure in her community. A key aspect of Elle's life was her close relationship with her sister Lucy. The bond between the sisters was exceptionally strong, characterized by deep mutual affection and support. They shared countless memories and moments of joy, underlining the profound loss felt by Lucy in the wake of Elle's passing. The sisters were not just family, but best friends, navigating life's challenges and celebrations side by side. The investigation into Elle Edwards' murder began immediately after the tragic events of December 24, 2022. The initial phase of the investigation was fraught with challenges. The attack at the pub Beacon was sudden and meticulously planned, leaving no immediate clues for the authorities. The lack of clear evidence in the early stages heightened the sense of urgency and desperation among law enforcement officers. Police began their investigation by interviewing Elle's family and friends, seeking any information that might provide a lead. They also meticulously examined CCTV footage from the area surrounding the pub, hoping to identify any suspicious activity or potential suspects. Despite their efforts, the initial investigation yielded little concrete information, contributing to the frustration and anxiety felt by Elle's loved ones and the broader community. Recognizing the need for community involvement, authorities and media outlets issued public appeals for information. These appeals were crucial in mobilizing the public to assist in the investigation. The authorities called on anyone with information, no matter how seemingly insignificant, to come forward. The hope was that even the smallest detail could be the key to unlocking the case. In response to these appeals, volunteer activists and local community members organized meetings to gather eyewitness accounts and discuss the incident. These grassroots efforts were instrumental in fostering a sense of solidarity and determination within the community. People came together, driven by a shared desire for justice and a commitment to ensuring that Elle's tragic death would not be in vain. Local media played a pivotal role in keeping the public informed and engaged. Regular updates on the investigation were broadcasted, and social media platforms were used to disseminate information and rally support. The community's response was overwhelmingly positive, with many individuals and groups stepping forward to aid in the search for justice. The exploration of Elle Edwards' life and the subsequent investigation into her murder highlights both the profound impact she had on those around her and the collective resolve to seek justice for her untimely death. Ella's beauty, kindness, and positive nature left an indelible mark on her community, and the deep bond she shared with her sister Lucy underscores the personal loss felt by her family. The initial investigation faced significant challenges, but the public's response demonstrated the power of community action in the face of tragedy. Through interviews, public appeals, and volunteer efforts, the collective will of the community was mobilized to assist law enforcement in their quest for answers. This case serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of unity and cooperation in overcoming adversity and seeking justice for those we have lost. The investigation into Elle Edwards' murder made significant progress thanks to diligent police work and crucial evidence gathered from multiple sources. One of the key breakthroughs came from CCTV footage and witness accounts that identified a dark Mercedes A-Class as being suspiciously present near the scene of the crime on the night of December 24, 2022. This vehicle became a focal point of the investigation. The scrutiny of the CCTV footage, combined with detailed witness testimonies, led investigators to Connor Chapman. Chapman, who was identified as the shooter, had a long and troubling history with the law. His criminal background was extensive, including numerous offenses that pointed to his deep involvement in gang activities. This profile made him a prime suspect in the cold-blooded murder of Elle Edwards. Chapman's identification marked a pivotal moment in the case. It provided a clear direction for the investigation and intensified efforts to gather more evidence that could conclusively link him to the crime. The community's hope for justice began to take shape as law enforcement zeroed in on Chapman and his associates. The arrest of Connor Chapman was a significant milestone in the quest for justice for Elle Edwards. Alongside Chapman, multiple other suspects were apprehended as part of a broader sweep aimed at dismantling the network involved in the crime. These arrests were not only about bringing the main perpetrator to justice, but also about addressing the wider criminal activities of the group. The evidence against Chapman was compelling. Forensic analysis revealed DNA on shell casings found at the crime scene that matched Chapman's genetic profile. Additionally, investigators discovered red gloves that were used during the shooting, further tying Chapman to the murder. This physical evidence, combined with the vehicle identification and witness accounts, formed a robust case against him. The trial of Connor Chapman began on June 13, 2023. It was a highly anticipated event, drawing significant media attention and public interest. The courtroom was filled with both legal professionals and members of the community who had been following the case closely. During the trial, the prosecution presented a comprehensive array of evidence, including the DNA on the shell casings, the CCTV footage, and the red gloves. Witnesses testified about the events of that fateful night and Chapman's known criminal activities. The defense attempted to counter these points, but the weight of the evidence was overwhelming. Ultimately, the jury found Connor Chapman guilty of the murder of Elle Edwards. The verdict brought a sense of relief and justice to Elle's family and the wider community. Chapman was sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 48 years. This severe sentence reflected the gravity of his crime and his extensive criminal history. In addition to Chapman, his co-conspirator Thomas Waring was also sentenced. Waring, though not the primary shooter, played a significant role in the crime and its planning. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison, underscoring the importance of addressing all involved in such heinous acts. The identification, arrest, and conviction of Connor Chapman marked significant achievements in the pursuit of justice for Elle Edwards. The breakthrough in identifying Chapman through CCTV footage and witness accounts highlighted the importance of community involvement and meticulous investigative work. The legal proceedings, culminating in the trial and sentencing, provided a measure of closure for Elle's loved ones and reaffirmed the community's commitment to upholding justice. This case not only brought a dangerous criminal to justice, but also served as a stark reminder of the impact of gang violence and the necessity for ongoing efforts to combat it. The sentences handed down to Chapman and Waring sent a strong message about the consequences of such violent actions and the community's resolve to prevent future tragedies. The murder of Elle Edwards resonated deeply within her community and beyond, igniting a significant public outcry. The shock and sorrow over her tragic death quickly turned into frustration and anger over the perceived leniency in sentences for dangerous criminals. This case, like many others, highlighted the urgent need for a comprehensive review of the existing legal framework and firearm regulations. Community members and advocacy groups vocally demanded stricter laws and harsher penalties for those involved in violent crimes, especially those involving firearms. The outrage was not only about seeking justice for Elle, but also about preventing future tragedies by addressing systemic issues within the legal and judicial systems. The call for legal reforms became a rallying point for those who believed that current laws were insufficient to deter serious crimes and protect innocent lives. In response to the public's demands and the glaring issues exposed by Elle Edwards' murder, the government took decisive actions to address gun violence and support affected communities. One of the primary measures was the allocation of significant funds aimed at reducing gun crime. This funding was intended to bolster law enforcement capabilities, enhance community policing efforts, and support initiatives designed to prevent gun violence through education and intervention programs. Additionally, Tim Edwards, Elle's grieving father, played a crucial role in turning the tragedy into a catalyst for positive change. He announced the establishment of a support fund for victims of gun violence. This fund was designed to provide financial assistance and resources to families affected by similar tragedies, helping them navigate the challenging aftermath of such incidents. Tim Edwards' advocacy and the fund's creation underscored the community's resilience and commitment to supporting one another in the face of adversity. The murder of Elle Edwards left an indelible mark on her community and highlighted several critical issues that need addressing. Her death was not just a singular tragedy, but a symptom of broader societal problems, including alcohol abuse, mental health challenges, and gang violence. These underlying issues contribute to a cycle of violence and crime that devastates families and communities. Elle's story is a poignant reminder of the importance of tackling these root causes to prevent future tragedies. It calls for a multifaceted approach that includes stricter legal measures, better mental health support, and proactive community engagement to address and mitigate the factors that lead to such senseless acts of violence. As we reflect on the life and untimely death of Elle Edwards, it's crucial to continue the conversation about these pressing issues and advocate for meaningful change. If you found this story impactful, please consider subscribing to the channel for more stories that shed light on important social issues and promote awareness and action. Thank you for watching and joining us in remembering Elle Edwards and supporting efforts to create safer, more compassionate communities.